apologies for the thunder if you hear it.
Well, I was going to say, do we want to like turn the lights off and just let nature run its course? We're at that point. Oh, okay. Well, this was episode 7 of Bly Manor, and it was
The Two Faces Part 2.
I was right.
Yep.
Not that's not a like.
Gotcha.
Yeah. You believed me.
I did.
Doozy.
Well, stuff started happening.
I have a theory.
Like I suspected.
Yeah, that this is going to watch differently a second time.
I agree.
And I think I saw some of the scuttle when it was coming out, and I heard that it was good. One of the words that they were throwing around was pacing issues. And I can see, if this continues this way, I can see where someone would say that. But again, I do think it's the kind of thing that once you have the full picture, the whole thing kind of changes.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I think it kind of did for Hill House too, though.
Yeah, but there was a bit more of,
it was
like,
a little more straightforward. Yeah. But yeah.
And the way that the scares in Hill House worked offered a bit more of an instant gratification.
Yeah.
In a way that this is very lingering.
It is. That's a good word for it. Lingering is good.
So did you follow this entirely? I was a little confused, but
mostly.
Okay.
Yes.
Go.
Oh, I thought you were going to ask me like a specific question. Okay. So basically after Peter died, Becca was having a really hard time. And so she basically, eventually he like came back and showed himself to her again. And she was like angry until she realized he was dead. And then he started, I guess, crafting this plan of how to like be together again. Mm-hmm. And it was basically for her to die also so they could be together. And then after they were both dead, he like left her again. So she was dead by herself in the house and he wasn't like spending time with her like they were planning on. But he was apparently still making plans in order for them to take over the children so that they could be alive and together and leave Bly Manor. But
so then why did he?
Children.
I was confused as to why he left her.
I don't know. He's awful. I mean, okay. I'm very torn about him because it is like undeniably romantic. The like, we could be together forever. I love you so much. It's like beautiful. But he's also gaslighting her the whole time. And it's kind of terrible. And then he just left her like more than once. Like she didn't know he died the first time.
Because that is one of the places where that's where I was like decoding things, where I was like, okay, wait a minute. Because we learned that information through the series of memories and stuff, because we watched Flora watch him die.
Yeah.
So there was a part of me that was sort of like, A, did that even happen? And B, when and where and all that, or even, reverse those. Yeah. Like, and so there was a part of me that was kind of like, oh, okay. And so the lady in the lake did, I guess, just kill him. We still don't know who she is or what she's doing.
Right. And at the end of this episode, she has Danny by the throat now.
So I was watching it last night. You had gone to bed.
Oh, I could hear it.
Too loud or?
Just all the knocking.
Oh.
Because there's knocking at multiple times throughout the episode and it turns into like pounding on the door and I could hear it every time and I was like, what the fuck is that?
Sorry.
It's okay. I was like, he must have it turned down as low as he usually does, but it's just like a really thumping bass driven sound that was like through the wall to the bedroom.
Mm-hmm. Well, anyways, the point was that by the time, by the end, when the lady grabbed Danny and I just went, oh, God. Mm-hmm. And I could hear Will laugh. And I was like, what? And he thought I was like rolling my eyes. And I was like, no. I was like, I actually, because in that moment, I was like, where's this muddy foot bitch? She's supposed to be lurking. And then she just was like, boom. Yeah. And I was like, oh.
Yeah. It's a very I was like every time we've seen her, and especially now that we know that she goes for the throat, I'm very in like a keep your hand at the level of your eye. Like, come on, guys, you can do it.
It is truly upsetting. There are elements of this, like I said, that when we were talking about The Witch, I was like, sometimes for me, I can view horror as comical.
Sure.
but it like there's a scene where they're actually explaining what happens to the ghosts. They get like stuck in these memories until they fade away.
Right.
And so that's what these like faceless people are.
The little boy, and he like grabs one sort of out of the ether.
Yeah,
almost.
her.
Yeah.
And I was about to be like, he like yanks Keira Knightley out of the set of Pirates of the Caribbean. And she's just like...
And her face is all smooth and sunken.
That's the thing that I like so much about Mike Flanagan is just the gusto with which they go for certain things.
Well, because it's also, I mean, it happened a lot on Hill House, but it's also something that we liked from Dr. Sleep, where it was just like, at one point, Ewan McGregor just is like, I can't just be crossing state lines with a young girl.
Yeah.
What do you think is happening here?
But even the visuals, there's this way of like, with horror, a lot of times they're like, never answer the question. Like the question is always scarier than the answer. And while that is frequently true, there is something about the manifestation that a Mike Flanagan production manifests that you're like, oh, that's a pretty good attempt at unnerving me.
Yeah. I mean, it's the type of thing where, you know, for something else that we really like and we're kind of apologists for, something like The Village, where it's like, the whole thing is a little less scary once you realize that those monsters are nothing. It's people in a costume. But then it's also the scary part is actually that they've done this to themselves. Like, that's the scary part of it. And like so many people were like, well, why do we have to see it? It doesn't make it scary. And it's like, that's not the scary part. Like, that's just that's the this that you're supposed to look at while this is happening over here.
So we have the Peter, he at least had tragic origins that probably led him to this place.
What do you think his dad did to him?
I mean, it felt molesty, but they wouldn't say it.
They didn't say it. And I was like, if he beat him, it's bad enough. And I was like, why do we have to go this extra level?
But you don't, well, sure, but it's like also when you're talking about beating, it's not unspeakable. And so the fact that they weren't speaking it means that it wasn't speakable.
Yeah.
When you're debating the badness of two words and you won't even say one of the words.
Yeah.
And particularly the like you let other children in to the house.
Well, and the whole like whenever the mother knows, that's what we like to call a useless mother. It's like you can't know and do nothing and then like pretend everything's going to be okay later. It's not the way it works.
And also the other reveal was that it seems he was stealing on her behest. She was like making him
the mother.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not 100% sold on that.
Well, it was a memory.
Yeah, but like $250,000. Was that woman knew with $250,000? It's so much money.
Because we don't even know whether she was drugs or jail or what. I don't know.
I think she was in a mental facility because she was like, they don't even give you a note that says you're well again. And it doesn't, that's not like a sickness, like a body sickness. That's like a mind thing.
They are trusting that we're following this.
Yeah.
And
I'm following it enough, but I would love like 3 more answers.
I'm following it emotionally. Like the understanding, sorry, I just spit everywhere, but and maybe there's something interesting in the presence of the children in this, that it's like, because a lot of times children can follow things emotionally, but not necessarily logically.
Sure.
Or factually.
Well, and that goes to like Flora at the end where she was like, I don't like this game anymore. And it's like, girlfriend, we have not been playing a game for some time now.
I don't like this bedtime story. So I'm definitely following the emotional beats of it. But it does leave me in sort of a haze, a foggy haze, in a way that I was being frustrated by at first. And now I'm like, I really do think that none of this is by chance. Like, I think it's all very engineered
deliberate
to feel this way.
Yeah. My biggest question is, I'm really curious and fascinated about why they decided to go into the children. Because they're so young and their siblings, they can't escape to America as children. Like, I don't know. It all feels very weird to me. So,
well, because I was like, what are they doing? Like, as the children, just being weird.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if you're a ghost, like time, you can just wait it out. I don't know, but
I guess.
I mean, is he not going to run away this time? Like,
yeah, well, that's the thing, and I do love that Becca didn't.
She finally
do it to Flora.
Yeah.
She was like, I can't do this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Love a benevolent ghost.
Me too. And she's so pretty.
And that black dress is
It's very
off
flattering.
the shoulder. Yeah.
Very flattering.
So, yeah, okay.
All right.
I think that's good. So
Watch episode 8.